Well, hello, Next Gen fam. Welcome back to another episode of Mentor Moments with Next Gen HQ. We are so excited to be here with you. So please sit back, take out your notebook, and get ready for the inspiration that's to come. We are so honored to have Findlay on with us today. She is a woman of many entrepreneurial hats, and her experiences range everywhere from personal branding to marketing to VCs and beyond. So we are so honored to have her on with us today to share a little bit of her story, share some of her lessons that she's learned so that you can take on every single day with even more momentum. Haley, thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Yes, well, thank you, Rachel, for a wonderful introduction. I'm I'm really excited to be here. My passion is just sharing my experiences and helping other entrepreneurs. So it's really an honor to be able to speak with everybody and share my experience because it's been an interesting one.
You know what? We love interesting stories here. And I think that's something that all entrepreneurs can say they have for sure, is an interesting history to where they've gotten to today. Amazing. So we're going to start off with a couple rapid fire questions. It's a little bit of a Next Gen HQ tradition. So let me know when you're all comfortable and ready.
I'm ready. I know that Next Gen likes to go quick. That's how I like to go as well. So I'm ready.
We are moving 1,000 miles a minute, but I'm going to throw this at you. What is one book that you'd recommend to others?
Oh my gosh, that is a hard one. Let's see. Can I cheat with this answer and let you in on a dirty little secret of mine?
Sure.
And I am very bad with titles, so I promise I'll get something over to you guys. But I actually go to the bookstore and when we could, and online, and I will read like the first 100 pages on an online book, or I'll go to the bookstore and I'll go to the entrepreneur section and just pick up books and kind of read and get the advice I'm looking for and then bounce. I don't ever think I've read a full book front to back, so please. But I read a lot, so.
Here we go. I love that. So you'll sit in the bookstore, read it, get to the point where you need, and walk out.
I'm enjoying my time. You can't kick me out.
That is so funny. Love that tip. There's a tip for everyone watching this right now that you didn't know you needed.
And online on Google, I think it's Google, they give you like the first 100 pages of some books sometimes. So it's very helpful.
There we go. That's what I'm going to start doing right now, actually. What is one confidence boosting method that you use? You've got a really big meeting set ahead. You want to show up proud and strong. What would you do?
I mean, it sounds a little cheesy sometimes, but it really does work. Is I will do kind of my morning affirmations, and it's usually just, today is going to be a very good day, and I'm open and willing to receive whatever comes my way. And that puts me in a state of just receiving, right? But it really it calms my nerves a lot, and it just kind of makes me ready and open for anything. Mm-hmm. And so I like to do that just at the start of any day. And, even if I'm speaking somewhere or have a big meeting, because you can't control how things are going to go. And I'm a control freak. So I have to figure out how to let go of that some way. But I find if you're open to all possibilities, a lot more can come your way, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Affirmations is something that I've just very recently kind of started to introduce into my life, and already seeing really beautiful benefits from that, even if it is just waking up feeling more ready to take on whatever comes at me.
Exactly.
Amazing. What is your favorite way to unwind?
So it's hard for me to unwind, but actually in front of me, I have my singing bowl. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's, I'll grab it because it's just right here. I'm not going to play it though, but it's just this purple bowl and you play it like a Tibetan bowl. And it's easier though. And it has like a frequency, a sound, and it, they have like this, 428 frequencies, and the HCs, if you look it up online, it's supposed to help with calming and just relaxing, and it's supposed to just be good for your body. So there's like 8 different colors you can do. And it's a little bit of a spiritual, like yogi thing sometimes. But it actually has this very beautiful sound, and it relaxes me immediately.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Amazing. Well, now I feel like we've been invited into your home. We're taking part in your tips and tricks that you already have for us. So I suppose it's a good time to kind of flip and dive into a little bit of the story that has brought you to the point you're at today, which I know, as you mentioned before, there's been a lot of things that have happened. It's a quick pace, so I'm excited to dive in. But I'd love to take you back a little bit ago to kind of right after your college years. So I see that you went to the University of Nevada, and then it seems like immediately after that, New York was calling. The big city was trying to get you over into its many webbed layers, I suppose you'll say. But as a young professional at the time, what was that transition like? And I feel like you probably learned one or two lessons that you would still carry with you through to this day of how you do work. So kind of to walk us back through that journey.
Yeah. So New York was calling, but it didn't call for like 4 or 3.5 years. So I had a little bit of a downtime, but in that downtime was some of the most transformational time of my life. So I went to school for the hospitality program and event planning, I, did a lot of stuff for fundraising for nonprofits, which actually led me to where I'm at now. And I do a lot of fundraising for different startups and companies and whatnot. But back then, I was doing so much all the time. And I ended up graduating early because I wanted to go to South Africa to do a postgraduate program. And I was hired when I was 21. So I was finishing school my last semester, and I was hired at one of the nightclubs out in Vegas. So it was very fun. And so I opened up that nightclub in Vegas, and it was Hakkasan nightclub. So if anyone's been there, it's really fun. During my time at 6 months working at the nightclub, they said no to letting me go and expand my career and do all that. And I was super upset. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I'm taking, a whole year off. I don't care. I'm just going to go do whatever and go find myself. And I found myself in Las Vegas, and, I just stayed and worked there and whatever. And it was great. But I probably, I'm a busy person, but took 6 months off. I was like, I'm just going to work. And in those 6 months, I worked at the nightclub as a bottle waitress, and then I ended up meeting so many people that were C-level executives, right? That were coming in for conferences, and just people from around the world that were filtering into this melting pot. And I was exposed to a lot of different companies, a lot of different people. And then I quickly, as an entrepreneur always does, I quickly aligned myself with other people's visions and then aligned their vision with mine. And I got bored of not doing much for 6 months. And then I quickly started my consulting business because I thought I was, pretty smart. I had a full education. I didn't want to just be a waitress. It was fun. And here I had this opportunity where I was in front of some of the most wealthy people around the world, right? And they were all coming to, hang out. And, I'm standing there. I have to stand there and work, and we have to talk and have a conversation. So I'm like, well, I'm going to talk about business, whatever. And they, these CEOs, as much as they loved being in Vegas on a vacation, they were also, some of them were still there for work, and they truly, the founders enjoy talking about their passion, right? So we talked about it, and I had a consulting business where I did a lot of marketing, digital strategy, and then I moved that business to New York, and it evolved into where I'm at today. But some of the lessons really were, I think, and I'm still learning them, going back to the control, right? You cannot have control. And the biggest thing I learned as an entrepreneur, you have to pivot. You have to be willing to work with what's coming your way, receiving that, right? Because I know what I want, but the world might not be ready for it, right? I might not be doing something the right way. And it was just being aware of my surroundings and how can I loosen a little bit that control and just kind of roll with it and build with it, not, just me, right? But build and grow with it.
On that note, because I think you bring up something that is really a crucial point for a lot of individuals, even within our own network, and for myself, even as an entrepreneur, it's that whole idea and concept of control and what happens when we can't control it all, when something that we really want just isn't aligning because we can't get our hands around it to really dive in. What are some resources that you found to be really helpful in kind of that learning journey of getting to a point where you can let go of the control and lean into the unknown a little bit? I feel like that would be really helpful.
Yeah. It's, I went on a whole spiritual adventure, right, if you will. And I moved to Bali for 3 months after I, after I left Vegas and was transitioning to New York. And, I did everything from yoga to meditation to affirmations to every self-help book, only the first 100 pages, right? And, and learning everything I could online. I mean, I, just like a lot of entrepreneurs, dove in. I probably spent thousands of dollars on programs and coaches and whatever, and just to try to find what I was looking for, not knowing what it is, right? And going inward and working on the self. And that helped a lot. However, it still wasn't enough, right? And I'm like, okay, here we are, like however many years later, and it's an evolving process, right? And granted, those tools do work, right? But my frustration led me to basically build where I'm at today. And basically, and it's not that fair, but I think it's pretty cool. But my COO and my partner and some of the businesses that we work in, I call him, my pocket psychiatrist. So he has 3 degrees. He's my exact opposite. I have a degree, but I'm really of the experience, and I have the serial entrepreneur experience. I have, the networking, and he has 3 degrees in a legal degree, an accounting degree, and his medical degree. So we call him my pocket psychiatrist. And what he worked on it with me was the most powerful tool. And it was identifying the root cause of the problem of whatever was holding me back. And then breaking down my ego, because you are the only person that holds yourself back. I was the only one holding myself back. But why was I holding myself back? And all the tools that I was doing, even my precious singing bowl, it works to an extent, right? But it's putting a Band-Aid over the problem. And when I worked with him, and that's literally what we have developed today, is helping people be happy, helping people be high performers, and identifying things that setbacks, right? And not self-sabotaging. But when I would have a setback, it would really hurt, because this is your passion, right? And he helped me learn the tools, because he's a psychiatrist, right? And he has all these little fun secrets and whatnot of identifying it, but he helped me get over them quicker, so I wasn't held back longer. And that was life-changing.
I wish we could all have a pocket psychiatrist with us, but you know what?
Well, you guys are lucky, because that's literally what, he's an extension of me. So you get me, you get him. So,
So it's a great thing that we have you on today, because you're acting as all of our psychiatrists right now. Amazing. So really, really kind of diving in, and you tried a whole lot of different resources and tools before finding kind of that perfect one that really just stuck and made sense for you.
Yeah.
I love that. But on that note of trying a lot of things, I know that kind of within your entrepreneurial journey, there has been a lot. You've built several different ventures. You're currently working on one at the moment. You also have a personal brand. And when I looked at some numbers, it was hundreds of millions of people that you touch across all of your platforms, which is so fantastic. All of the inspiration and the power that you're giving individuals. But throughout everything that you're doing, do you feel as though you approach things with some core of yourself or a common thread that continues to just push you higher into the next level?
Yeah, I think you hit on it too, is the power lies within you, and that's just been a recurring theme. And I started as somebody who was a marketer, right? And because I started marketing brands online, I used the strategies on myself first, and then became an influencer, right? And then I was like, well, I want to do more than just what people thought an influencer maybe came with, right? And then I was into traveling around the world with hotel brands and doing content, right? And some cool stuff. And then that kind of I was like, okay, I've done the travels, like I want to do more, right? And I built a platform for myself, and I then began teaching. I had a women's community a while ago where I taught women entrepreneurs how to build their digital brands. And then I, just began moving forward and just sharing that on my platforms. So I've personally built over my own personal platform of 3.5 million views a month. I built an ecosystem of over 165 million people with different brands around the world. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And the core ethos of that is the power of the personal brand, and the power of you is just so important. And everything that I do, and right now I work with different VCs and companies, and and do a lot of different investing and things around the world. It's very cool because we get to see a lot of different types of companies and ventures, and I just, when I first started as an entrepreneur, I didn't have the money, right? Otherwise I would have funded it myself. I had some great ideas, but time is a luxury. So I didn't have enough time to do everything. And the only thing I had to negotiate, because you have to come with something, right? And I don't have 3 fancy degrees like my amazing Dr. Eric, pocket psychiatrist guy. But I only had me as kind of the bargaining power, if you will. And you can pitch and sell yourself to VCs or people in meetings and negotiate, and you can do all that. And that's great. But if you have a personal brand behind you, if you have a following, and it doesn't even have to be a following, it could be an email, network. It could be like how you guys with Next Gen HQ, have you guys have a network of people. That is currency, right? Your network is your currency. And so is your social media following. And whichever one you can build up, time, luxury, but if you can build time, money, or, your network, one of those is a very good bargaining chip. And so that's kind of a recurring theme. And that's what I just love to help the entrepreneurs, because even with my psychiatrist, partner, he was all about me, right? Like, what is my value? Helping me identify my value. Okay. And a lot of people forget that you hold yourself back, but you are also what people invest in, right? You are the only reason why this idea is successful, and you have to own that. So that's really important to me.
Owning your power, stepping up, finding the value that you bring to the world. It all kind of has to do with what you should be focusing on in building your venture, your personal brand, or whatever kind of that end goal is.
People say that, and you hear that all the time, right? So it's like, why is it not registering as powerful it is? Because it's so powerful. It's the most powerful thing. And I struggled with that a lot. And, everyone's like, oh, wow, you're doing so great. You have all these connections. You do this. And I'm like, but I'm still not where I want to be. And therefore I'm not happy yet, and I don't see myself as that successful type yet. Right. And that's why it's so important to identify that those core problems and core issues or obstacles, and it's an outside of the box thinking, in my opinion, because and again, I have it's a business relationship with my psychiatrist, but he still carves out 1 hour a week for Haley's mental brain, just trying to understand me, right? To see where I'm at, because the entrepreneur journey is a roller coaster. But catch me 10 years ago, I'm like, I'm not going to a psychiatrist. Like, I'm doing therapy. No, but it's for high performers. It's that mental, therapy and just brain training is what I like to call it.
Oh my gosh, I could ask you so many questions going
Well,
down
I don't have the full
rabbit
degree,
hole.
but I can, I have my experience on what I've learned from him. But
I love that. I love that. But in essence of time, I won't go down that rabbit hole, but I will move into one of our last questions. We ask this, Haley, to all of our mentors, because at the end of the day, what we want to do is work with you to be able to inspire entrepreneurs and younger individuals to go after their dreams, to go after their bigger selves that they see down the future. So, and I would love to hear your answer to this question as well. What is your hope for the next generation of leaders? What do you hope that they accomplish, that they live to do? All of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to plug, but this literally is what we are bringing to share with your platform and combine with Next Gen HQ. And why it's such an amazing fit is because my personal passion and myself and Eric combined as a team, we are on a mission to make 1 million people happy. And there's a science to it. It is not hard. It is not complicated. And that is what we want to bring. And, I've always said it's about changing the world, but one human at a time. And you can save the planet. Like, I'm all about saving the planet. I don't like people so much, even though I like to talk and whatever, but I'm all about the planet, right? And animals and children and the plants, right? If you will, things that don't have a voice, right? But you can't take care of the planet or others if you can't take care of yourself, right? So I realized, okay, we got to look inward again. Same theme. And we, need to invest in people. And what I just want for other people, because I struggle with this and a lot of people do, not only is the entrepreneur journey lonely, but people forget that it's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be fun. And I forgot that along the way for a long time, right? It hurt relationships. It hurt just my mental health, my physical health, everything. And it's very hard. So I just want people to be happy. I want them to enjoy their journey, because I've been through it, and I've recently, in this past recent year, have come out from it and on the other side from it. So I can speak very clearly through that progress, and I just want people to be happy. So that's what Dr. Eric and myself are doing, is we're on a mission to make 1 million people happy, so they can remember the entrepreneur journey is supposed to be amazing and fun. And we are offering, things to help systemize that and just be able to speak with us and whatnot. And thank you so much for, you guys with Next Gen HQ, because you're allowing, access to us and vice versa. And that partnership is so important, and being co-collaborators in something so beautiful.
The way that we create the change that we both hope to end up doing is with each other, and is by banding together and ensuring that all entrepreneurs feel exactly what you're talking about. They feel the happiness and the wonder and the joy of what they're doing. So I love that. That was a great way to end this on such a high note. And Haley, thank you so very much for taking the time to come chat with us today. If a next gener is curious to come and connect with you, maybe follow this wonderful personal brand of yours, what ways would you kind of encourage them to come find you?
Sure. So I do have 2 Instagrams, but one is focused on fashion and travel and whatever. So, but I have a new Instagram where I'm kind of developing and growing that. And it's all about helping entrepreneurs and just sharing tips and having this inner circle of just, fun, right, I guess. And it's at lifewith.haley. And then of course, I'm sure you guys can always reach out through the platform to access myself and Eric, and we'll be working with Next Gen HQ on some fun stuff coming up.
And we cannot wait for that. Haley, thank you so much again. I guess we should let all of these next geners go and start finding their happiness and their joy. So on that note, thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.